Hey guys, it's Shingy. The role of transparency is this year's theme at the Seattle Interactive Conference. It all became clear when I spoke to Megan Tweed, the VP of Media at Razorfish, about the power and purpose of big data for better decisions, and about how she balances science with art through her project, the Fainting Room Collective. I think what's interesting about data is that privacy is one thing that clearly in the climate that we're in right now is a concern.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that? Do you think it's going to be more of a concern from a consumer perspective? Or do you think it's something we should glaze over and move on?
Well, I don't think anybody should glaze over. You should know your rights. You should know what's going on in the world. You should be aware. At the same time, though, there's an exchange that's going on. You know, you give little bits of data, and the world is curated a little bit more for you. And this is both from like an advertising standpoint or from a publishing standpoint.
Yeah.
All of these behaviors that you're having go on throughout the web. There's a collection process. And ideally, the world that you experience is a little bit different because of that. You could spend 4 hours shopping for a toaster if you want to, but who wants to do that? I want to look at the toasters within the price range that I want from the brands that I'm looking at for, and be done with it. So I feel like the way that folks look at data, they should look at it as I'm sharing this and there's going to be a benefit to me at the end of it.
What do you think is a challenge with that, though? Because not all consumers are aware of the fundamental benefit.
Yeah.
They see it as being still a privacy issue.
Yeah.
Do you think whose responsibility do you think it is to change that climate?
Well, I think it lies on both of our plates to be informed. I think brands need to be a bit more transparent with how they're actually using the data, but I actually look at the responsibility falling on somebody like myself too. I feel like I sit in this mediation sort of role where consumers are telling me I want this thing, and they're telling me through these bits of behavioral data. And then brands are telling me I want to, accomplish this other thing. So how can I bring those two, needs together and actually deliver an experience that works for both of them? And I think if you do that right, if you deliver something that works for the individual, it's going to perform better, and the brand's going to get something from it.
Do you think that data can be really well used to open creativity?
I believe so.
Can you give me an example of that?
Well, if I look at experiences that folks are building on the mobile platform, sometimes there are these big, beautiful experiences that potentially shouldn't be housed on that platform. I just want to find a store sometimes, And so if you look at the behavioral data that's going on in the mobile platform, you'll notice it's just about finding the store. So make that utilitarian function available to me, and I'm going to be a happier person at the end of the day. I also think, though, on the contrary, if I'm just constantly watching videos from your brand all the time, and I'm really, out there sharing all of these videos, and I'm like a amplifier for you, if you will, give me more beautiful content. So I feel like when creative folks are looking at the data, it should be a mix of utilitarian needs that are being met, as well as building beautiful experiences when people actually want them, giving them to the folks that want them.
You have a collective?
Yes,
Can you tell me a bit more about that? So obviously you balance your, science and art, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit more about that, if you don't mind.
I grew up in music. I started going to punk shows when I was 13 with my older brother, and realized really quickly that there's interesting ethos in that community. It's very do-it-yourself. It's you're good at this, you're good at that, I'm good at this. Well, if we brought that all together, we could do this, and that would be amazing. And so that ethos, I take that into, my adult life, and I've actually built a small little collective of folks. There's screen printers, there's folks that do production work on video or recording engineering work, musicians, visual artists, and we come together and collaborate on projects. We pick out something that we think needs to be done within the community, and we get together and we do it. It's a way to bring community together. I look at this digital world and data and all these cues and behavioral, and I've spent so much time in that, but the importance of connecting and actually having community and bringing folks together, and what comes after that, it can change a scene, it can change a subculture, it can change a city, but you have to have an idea for people to come together on.
Yeah, the beauty of art and science is amazing. I don't have to ask any more questions. She's fantastic. I could just sit you back and continue rattling all afternoon.
I know, I'll just run my mouth.
Thank you, Megan. Cheers.
Thank you.